Hello, hello. Testing.
Hi, Kanashi. Hi, Kanashi.
Hello, everyone. Hey, welcome to Day Trade Options. I am going to make this quick once again. Try to just get in, get out. Had several trades today.
Hi, Kanashi.
I did have some. Definitely made some mistakes today, guys. I really, I did not really follow my most important rule, and that's to not trade into major levels, which is why I ended up with losses the first few trades of the day. So let's get right into it. I'll try to give you a recap, see what I did, see what I did wrong. Could have made a lot more money in a couple trades. So just had some issues. There were some beautiful trades that set up throughout the day during, later day. I was able to still eke out a really good profit today. So I don't know, maybe that's just uh, being able to have, more buying capital to make up for some of my losses. But I will, let's get into some of my markups that I've already done. And I will show you where I made my mistakes. So today, one of the first trades of the day was SPX. Man, I thought this was looking good, but you know what? This is where we all make mistakes. We all have to be focused on every aspect of trading. And where I made my mistake was we're in the middle of two major levels. Even though I got exactly what I wanted in a normal reaction above the 20 and the 200. I mean, look at this. This is perfect. It's what I want to see. But what I didn't wait for, and the real sad part about this is I actually called this out. I said, hey, we need to wait until we clear the levels, guys. And what did I do?
Hi, Kanashi.
FOMO'd in. I wanted to catch that trade, right? So guys, I can just tell you that will keep all of us from being successful if we FOMO without following our key rules. And key rules need to be set up. You need to have them ingrained. You need to have them written down so that you see them and you remember them. I know them. I just ignored it because the push looked so good. Now, granted, where we were at, yeah, you could have traded this point up to this level, but it's just not worth it. And the reason it's not worth it is exactly what happened here. This happens quite frequently. When you trade in the middle of two significant levels, you get smacked. Now, the LRCs tend to help me with this, but at the same time, it does not negate the fact that it could reverse at any moment, and that's what happened. So my first trade I lost $430 on. I got into five calls right on this push. I'm not going to lie, just as the market was moving right then, I think everybody's bias was, wow, this looks like it's going to fly up, right? So I got in. I did scale a couple real quick. I just took a couple off, but then I de-risked on this move here and was, hoping that I'd get a push up off the 200 for continuation. But I did de-risk one just in case it kept going, and it did. So I ended up with a $430 loss on that trade. However, I did see the setup, and I noticed that, everything had changed later in the day. This was not, of course, not my second trade. I took several at this time, and I'll show you those. I had a couple losses. I was up really good on PLTR. I held it too long. I knew it was going against the market at that time, but it just seemed to keep going. Another mistake I made is I just didn't focus on my price action. I had sellers coming in showing me that it wasn't looking good, and it just did not resonate. So again, just things that bring me back to earth. Make sure that you're thinking about everything when you're trading. And so I ended up with a $430 loss there. I then noticed this setup. We got a break, a retest, and a big flush that went through. What I liked about this move is it went through, took out this candle, closed here. So I got in on this candle right there in 5 puts. I scaled 3 at this level. I scaled 1 at the LRC. It blew right through. This is our oil break line right here. It blew right through our oil break line. If you guys don't have that, shout out to Seb. Thank you, sir. That was a great addition to our community. It's just an interesting, unique little support resistance level that is, it does play a factor. It has like an average of highs and lows, and it creates almost like an orb, but you can use it for support and resistance and as breakout levels. So really cool tool, and you can see it respected it right here. So we've been using that as a part of our whole trading system in the community. Anyhow, I scaled out 1 here. I exited the last one there. That saved my day, honestly. $3,290 profit. That basically saved my day. I should not have traded these levels. I just put a note right here too for the others and use ThinkScript, just because I want everybody to obviously be cognizant of the errors that are made when we're trading. Of course, and I'll show you in a minute on Microsoft. I made good trades. It just didn't work out, and you'll see that happens, and you have to be able to either just move on and understand that it didn't work, and that's trading. So I'll show you that in Microsoft in a minute. But I did put I just wanted to point out that I had the 598 and 595, and I should never have even entered a position until I was either below or above. That would have saved me from taking this loss, and I would have had an even better profit today. And it would have saved me, or helped me to keep from having. It would have helped me to keep from having losses on the other trades, right? So let me show you those as well. MSTR, same thing, came down. This was a bias trade, so really not just not a great. Once again, not being as focused and just disciplined as I should be. So that's a a learned lesson. I have to correct it in order to stay successful, right? Because eventually it's going to catch up with me. So very important to stay disciplined and to not follow your bias. I know sometimes we trade news, and we get news and we're like, oh, we're hyped. And that's kind of what was going on with me. I read quite a bit of news, saw quite a bit of videos, information about crypto. Trump was praising crypto, going to add it as a part. I can't remember what they called it, but anyway, it's going to be a part of the like the savings plan for the U.S. government. And I was like, oh wow! And he called out 4 or 5 different cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin being one of them. So I was like, okay, MSTR, Coin, Mar, these guys have got to be flying today. So that was my bias. So don't trade your bias. That is the worst thing. Don't, or I should say the worst thing, but it's a very bad thing to do. Don't trade based off of news. Trade based off of what is and what the levels and what price action gives you. And so I got in with one. I got in right here on this as a breakout. I didn't get on the first candle. I waited for this, and as it was pushing up, I was like, I'm in. Came down, closed here, so I was at a loss. Went down, went down, went down. I exited. I ended up losing $700 right here. So lesson learned. Hopefully I'll retain it, right? Maybe it'll last a couple of weeks, and then I'm kind of like Dory. 4 weeks, another couple months from now, and I'll do the same thing and go, But we always need these little reminders to not trade with bias. Follow our rule set. My rule set is amazing. It really is. It has kept me super successful. All I have to do is follow it and not get FOMO and not do the stupid things like this. But that's being part human, right? We're traders. We act on emotions sometimes, and that's what I did. So the best trade would have been right here. I just wanted to point this out. You had a beautiful move down, retest of the 20, red candle, red below red. Boom. Great trade. You didn't even have to get out until right here. That would have been your exit 2 greens above. So you would have caught that whole move if you had just traded that rule set. What's up, Joe? How you doing today, buddy? Thanks for coming by. Okay, here's PLTR. This one was, I don't know why I have this 5 sitting up here. PLTR was a really good trade. I let this one get away from me. I was doing well with it. But what I did, this is what I wanted to say I did not recognize. And once again, you just have to be on your toes trading. What was happening is when all this was going up, if you remember, SPY, QQQs, NASDAQ, all the others had already went back below their levels and was moving down. Yet this one was still moving up. I was up a lot. I was up over 1K. Like at this point right here, and I let this thing. I can't remember what my max profit was on it, but it was a really good profit, and I just kind of let it go. Once I got the second smackdown right here, and this should have been that should have really it kind of faked me out though. So I did notice the price action. But then the next candle went all the way up here. I'm like, oh, okay, this bad boy is going to go. I remember even probably saying that in the community, like, yeah, this is going to go. This is going to be great. I'm done for the day on this trade. It went up, whoop, came back down. I was like, oh, no. So I ended up getting I ended up scaling out 2. I got this big push down. I was at a loss. I was like, are you kidding me? I gave back over $1,000. Was at a loss here, scaled out here for a decent profit, but then I allowed it to push me back down. So I scaled out. I scaled out half, then another half. I was able to make back up my loss. Went into decent profit here, and then it went down this far, and it actually took me down to a $30 profit. So, rough. I didn't get my move, but I have to say, I didn't really trade this poorly. I mean, trading the poor part, I guess I did trade it poorly, so I need to not make
Aikanashi.
excuses, right? I traded poorly because what I did not recognize, or what I didn't um, hold to a higher level, was the rest of the market was going down, right? I'm watching all the stocks, everything's going down, and in the community, as we were trading, I called it out. I was like, hey, I'm still holding Pielzer's going down, but it's still going up. That right there should have been ding, 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 ding. Just get out, take your profit, just in case. And that's what happens, right? So I did exit here for 30 measly bucks. So probably, I think I made $10 because I think I was in 20 contracts. So I made $10 on that trade. Um, oh, good job, Joe. Excellent job. Yeah, the puts today were beautiful for NVIDIA and SPX. I think my bias kind of got me off guard today because initially I was looking for everything to go up and I didn't really consider like a complete down day until as the day was going on. Now we did go through that chop fest, which I think that shook a lot of people out. But once we got through it, yeah, man, it was beautiful trades, which is what we said we were going to step away, which we did, take some lunch, come back. I got back too late. For the SPX move down, but I did come back in. I can't remember what time it was that I got back in, but anyway, I did make some trades with Microsoft and had losses, and this is where you're going to have losses even with this strategy or any strategy. They don't always go against you, or they don't always work, right? So sometimes they will go against you is what I was going to say. There are several ways you can look at this. It just depends on your risk to reward. I didn't want to risk anymore because I was up, but I didn't want to continue to risk. But I did end up risking. I think it was at $800. Yeah, $800. I was down, so I got in right here. I saw this come down. It came back up, retested. This candle is what excited me, honestly. This push off of the 394 level, it came back up, it came down again, went up, closed below. This went red. It obviously ended green, but I trade based off of the move below the close, which is what I did. I got inputs. It went all the way up right after I got in. And so I exited for a $500 loss. It was exact 500. Both of these were exacts, which was kind of weird. Anyway, I keep having that happen a lot lately. Then it came back down. I was like, okay, well, maybe I was just ahead of my move. I got in here. Dang it, if it didn't go back up and have two closes above the 394 again. All of this, I'm below my 200. So funny thing is, if I had just stayed in these, as long as I didn't get above my 200, I would never have had a loss. However, you have to trade your plan, right? And the issue is this is hindsight trading. I know that it never got above it here, but if I had just got in here and stayed in, this thing could have went right on up, right? We don't know what it's going to do here. All we have, that 200 is nothing more than a guide. It doesn't. Price controls the 200. The 200 does not control the price. Always remember that, guys. Every indicator you have is controlled by what has already happened or happening. You cannot predict anything. So it's nothing more than a guide of where price is moving or where it is. This could have easily went shung, 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 straight to the moon. And I would have been in a massive loss. So I took my loss here. I took my $300 loss there, and I was down 800 on this trade. However, I did notice this push right here. That was key. I got in on this one more time. I was like, third time's a charm. Let's give it a chance. So I gave it, and it went right away. So I was able to scale out here. Got my pullback. Was kind of bummed, but held, and ended up, I remember I was telling the guys I wanted to see this thing get through a certain level, so I was holding it, and I wasn't going to give up that that level, and they were like, yeah, good job, you know, for patience. So I was able to hold to here. I did take profit, which only netted me 125 total, which I'm okay with. I wiped out an $800
Aikanashi.
loss and netted a 125, so I feel really good about that. However, if I had just followed my 20 EMA rule, I think sometimes, you know, emotionally when you're at losses, you just are like happy to get it to a profit. I really shouldn't have been that way. I was already up 3,200 on the other trade, but I decided to take my profit because I thought, hey, any minute now this thing could go right back up. Today was kind of a crazy day during the chop fest, but man, look at that drop afterwards. That would have made for a beautiful day. But I missed it. Um, if the market is down, I wouldn't think it would go up. Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but the market's been down many times and it went up, and the market's been up many times and went down. So it's hard to it's hard to you shouldn't trade against it. You're right about that. As far as if you're talking like trend direction, don't trade against the trend. Don't trade against your levels. Trust them. You have them for a reason. Um, and man, look at SPY today. If I had just when I got in this trade right here, if I just held all day, that probably would have been, probably 20,000, 30,000, 20, $25,000 trade. I made 3,200 just to here. I mean, I would have lost on deterioration some, but wow, what a trade that would have been. Goodness gracious. So, you know, this is another something to consider. Of course, I probably
Aikanashi.
would never have got to here, right? I would have exited at my 590, looking for that to be support to kick us back up. Got below retest. Man, a double, if you get double retest like this and a pushback below, there's your entry right stinking there, right below this structure. That's your entry. Every single time, guys. It's like that's just so simple. We're trading that stuff every day in the community. We call it out. We got our retest. We wait for a break of structure. We enter, and it's a no-brainer. No brainer. But anyway, hey guys, I hope everyone had a great day today. I hope everyone stayed green and stayed out of this chop. That was tough. It was kind of in our main trading timeline, so that one that one hurts because a lot of people like to trade in this time frame. And so that time frame is the time frame that killed us. We did have a good discussion today, and shout out to Seb once again. We were discussing, you know, the market and how it's been made. And he just had a comment that was like, you know, hey guys, we need to watch for it to possibly have the good moves at the end of the day. And sometimes you just have to key in on how the market's working, how it's moving, and most recently. And he was spot on. You know, after lunch, it was just beautiful, beautiful moves. Um, so anyhow, if you guys are interested in trading in a fantastic community, the link is in the description down below. If you want to understand how I trade, use my long LRC, which I didn't even comment about today, interestingly enough, but it is a huge deal. Here it is right here.
Aikanashi.
Uh, the way you set it up and the way I use it is also in the link down below. And anyway, you guys have a wonderful evening and have a great green week. Thanks for coming by. Don't forget to hit that like button, please, and subscribe if you have not, if you'd like to see more of my trades and my recaps. I appreciate it, guys. Have a good evening.